Yeah. Good question. No, yeah, there's definitely a few things. I think, I don't know. There was a moment in time where I wanted to put more emphasis on why we're supposed to leave Dema. I don't know if that was ever actually fully understood or realized. It has a lot to do with, there's a religion inside of the city of Dema called vialism. And there's kind of the secret of why vialism is not good, basically. And when you discover the secret, it is the reason why you would want to leave Dema. But it takes a while to discover that secret. Ultimately, when I was sharing kind of the story of Dema with not only my manager, but with Josh and Mark and a few other people, they were, I guess, semi-concerned with how that story would come off. I think that the song Neon Gravestones is a perfect, I guess there's a reason why it's in the middle of the record. I'm kind of going off on a tangent here, but so Neon Gravestones, when I wrote this, when you're signed to a label and you have a bunch of partners, whether it's through your publishing or, your booking agencies, just a lot of people who work to make this work. They're invested, and on some level, they can speak into what you create. Now, for Josh and I, we kind of got lucky because we got signed. We worked with Atlantic and Fueled by Ramen, and they've been very good partners because they've just kind of backed off. I think maybe when we first got signed, they didn't know whether or not it was going to work. So, they throw some money at it. They obviously believed in it. So I don't want to badmouth our label or whatever, but there was an aspect of it was like, hey, we're going to go and tour. And they thought, well, that's kind of silly. You don't have any fans. I know we don't, but we believe they'll show up. And so we didn't want to take any money from that. A lot of bands will get kind of this, I don't know, what would you call it, Mark? Touring loan.
Touring loan.
That's not what it's called. What is it called?
Thanks. Great description.
Oh, tour support?
Tour support. That's right.
Yeah.
Where a label will help a band get what they need to go out on tour. And because they didn't really necessarily believe in us going out and touring right away, they wanted us to work on our songs and try to find a single and try to get it to work the way that normal bands get it to work. They weren't really on board right away with the whole touring idea. So we just decided to tour anyway. I guess all that to say is we set a precedent with our label that we were going to lead, we were going to take charge, and they appreciated that. So I guess all that to say, it's a long story that our interaction with our label and the people who would speak into our songs have always defaulted to whatever you guys want to do. Then Neon Gravestones came around, and when they heard that song, there was a lot of red flags. A lot of people, it went all up and down the building in New York City at Atlantic, and they all listened to it and were extremely concerned about how it was going to come off. And they really described it as this giant landmine in the middle of the record that could take away from all the good. And I'm sitting there man, I don't see it that way. I feel like what I'm saying is pretty clear. It's obviously a call to action, a call, ultimately a message of hope. But I know for me, I wanted to hear the topic of suicide at that angle, because that's what I would want to hear. And if I believe that there was anyone like me, they would also want to hear it, need to hear it, and not get it twisted up of what it is I'm trying to say. And so it was a bit of a battle. They really wanted me to take it off the record, and just to be safe. And I get it. I understand their angle. I don't think that they were wrong in doing that, but there was this moment where I thought maybe I was making, I don't know, the way that they built it up, it was this huge mistake. for me to have that song on the record. And so with the rest of the story, like when I sat down and I told the story of Dema to a few of our label people, there were some of them that got it right away. And those are the people that like I love working with. But I'd be lying if I were to say that everyone understood it and liked it or agreed with it. And so when Neon Gravestones came around, it was like kind of another reason for them to show like, I don't think this is the right direction for this record. I don't think this is the right song to have on the record. Like you could lose your career if this song isn't taken the right way. So I think it was literally the night before I had to solidify the track listing. I basically had to like make a call to the label, like it's in or it's out. What really made it tough though, I know I'm kind of going off on a tangent, but what made it tough was we decided to put the track listing on the album cover. So on Trench, you can see the songs. The track listing is there. I always liked that visual. I felt like it applied and made sense for that particular album cover. But the issue with that is a lot of times you can promote a new record and announce a new record, but you don't have all of the everything buttoned up yet. So basically, hey, here's the album cover, and I'm still working through songs. I'm still trying to get the track listing in the right order. I'm still making sure that songs are crossing the finish line to make the deadline so that they can get mixed and mastered and all that.
That's going to be pretty intense.
The issue with releasing a record that has the track listing on the front cover is that you got to lock that stuff in a lot sooner, if that makes sense. Because you can't change that once it's on the cover. So I was forced to really make a decision pretty quickly on whether or not, this song Neon Gravestones was gonna stay on it or not. Because I was basically warned this could be the end of your career. Obviously, I felt like it was too important to take off the record, but it also was kind of the crux of the story itself. So the vialism, this religion that the bishops are basically in charge of, that give them their, it makes them who they are. Vialism, when you figure out what the theology of vialism talks about at the very end, it's that your goal in your life is to eventually take your own life and try to impact as many people as you can with that act. And there's a reason why the outside of Dema is all graves, because that's where each of these, they would say it's a party. They would say it's a celebration of this person's funeral because of that act. And the way that it's presented to people who live in Dema is that this is a good thing. Like, this is what your goal is to try to impact and affect as many people as you can. And then ultimately, this is your final act. And for someone in that position trying to realize why this doesn't feel right, they slowly start to see that there's another option. There's another way. That's so wrong that I need to leave. And with kind of the warning that our label was giving us about what that song could, if it went the wrong way, we decided to really kind of put a backseat to the religion of vialism, which is found inside of Dema. And also, I guess it sounds weird saying, hey, here's a new record from this band 21 Pilots. It's about they made their own religion up. That's not what I was trying to do. Yeah, that's not what I was trying. The religion itself is the antagonist of this story. And all that to say, so there's a lot of that. There's a lot about that religion and how it disguises itself as a good thing that hasn't totally been realized yet. Wow, that was one question.
Yeah, wow, insane.